Hello, so good to meet you at our global motivational meeting. We are reading Messiah's Second Coming, Messages for Billions. These God's words that inspire billions of people, families, communities, countries, and the whole world. I will help you to just read these quotes and practice in daily life. Think about them that God could give you tips for happy life and prosperous future. As we're reading this from the beginning, please find all the chapters in our Message to Billion channel. Happy TV, and now let's read from the Messiah Second Coming through Father's speech that we started yesterday. God created us to become one in heart with Him, to share His value and true love, and to experience an inseparable parent-child bond with Him, enabling us to relate with Him through our strongest emotions in daily life. God's ideal of creation, which entails that this perfection comes with the perfection of human beings, who would be His partners and love as sons and daughters. This elevation is the accomplishment of the ideal of true love. To summarize, God's purpose in creating the first human ancestors of Eve was for them to establish family of goodness that would fully ripen the fruits of God's true love, true life, and true lineage. On the foundation of their family, Adam and Eve were to nurture the heart of children, heart of siblings, heart of husband and wife, and heart of parents. And this process as discrete manifestation of God's dual characteristics, masculinity and femininity, they were to proceed step by step to master the ability to express God's love, bringing it to perfection at a place of safe settlement. If Adam's family had fulfilled that true love ideal in this manner, with God in a central position, it would have been the first family of the kingdom of heaven, starting from this ideal family with Adam and Eve as true parents. The kingdom of heaven would have naturally expanded in scope to produce tribes, people, nations, and the world. The tradition of the family of the true love would have become the tradition of the world. In this ideal world, the incarnated true parents would be able to at the single central position. They would resemble and inherit all the attributes of God, the spiritual absolute true parents, absolute true teacher, and absolute true honor. And the kingdom of heaven of true love, the incarnate true parents who are united with God would create the vertical axis. Keeping this axis at the center, all relationship between created entities occupying positions such as upper and lower, left and right, front and back, and inherit and the internal and external would be in harmony. Thus, all of creation would dwell in freedom, peace, unity, and happiness. When our life on earth in our physical body came to an end, our spirit self transitions into the spirit world, which is the ultimate world. It is an extension of our life on earth, and also a place where we are to perfect the ideal of the kingdom of heaven. If this ideal had been fulfilled in the beginning, there would have been no need for God's salvation, providence through religions, or the advent of the Messiah. Unfortunately, as a result of the fall of Adam and Eve, God's intended ideal of the kingdom of heaven in Adam's family was not realized. This was because Adam and Eve became false parents when they indulged in false love with Satan in the central position. Without receiving God's blessing of marriage, they formed a false husband-wife partnership and the false family, and they bequeathed false life and false lineage to their descendants. They left God in grief because the enemy Satan has altered their original lineage. And this way, they lost God and did not establish their bodies as temples by which they were to have lived in attendance to God. In fact, their bodies became the den of Satan's devils, and their spiritual desire to seek absolute values was shut down, rendering them incapable to knowing about the spirit world, the ultimate world, because the first human ancestors deformed themselves, their descendants, and all people never came to know that God is our true parent. We inherited certain selfish desire and lived righteous, self-centered lives, parading our fallen nature, unaware that God created us as brothers and sisters who would live in attendance to Him. We lived in sin, strife, and dispute. We do not even know that to kill another is to kill oneself, and so we live in unhappiness. The world has inherited the tradition of Adam's family, in which Cain killed his own brother Abel. The outcome for us, the descendants of the false love, is the unhappiness, sin, and ruin manifested in family breakdown, the moral degradation of youth, and diseases such as AIDS. Consider the world's situation. The acute crisis of the modern age are manifested in struggle between our mind and body, the confusion of values, criminal activities, drug abuse, the breakdown of family, and that holds humanity's future and balance, destruction of the environment, conflict and hatred, terror and war, and even conflict among religions and civilization, which with each passing day, these crises turn more serious, more complex, and more pervasive. We can no longer stand by and do nothing as the world carries along this course. There is no time left. Who can take responsibility for this world? Where is the leader who will present a fundamental plan to solve the world's problem? At the same time that we lost God, we also lost true love, peace, and happiness. Throughout history, we have tried to liberate ourselves from unhappiness and achieve peace on our own, excluding God from the process. Such efforts have been fundamentally flawed. We cannot defuse the crisis by human efforts alone. True peace and happiness have their origin in God's true love, true life, and true lineage. God is absolute, so His will for that creation is also absolute. This means that God is working to reverse what went wrong as a result of the fall and return us to the original state. Thus, God's providence of salvation is a providence of restoration. Its purpose is to recover the original world that existed prior to the fall. In other words, God's intention is to establish a couple in the position of the restored Adam and Eve, or two parents practicing true love. God wants to give them the marriage blessing and have them form a true family, which will be the point of origin of true tribes, people, nations, and world. Yes, so powerful quotes from True Father. Let's read the message from the begotten daughter, True Mother. Speech at the Grand Cheonbo Festival. It was at October 10, 2021. Is today a day of happiness for you? Is it a day for which to be grateful? God, our Creator, created all things in heaven and earth in pairs, and then created a man and a woman to become our first ancestors, heavenly parents, so that it was good. Still, despite the words of the three blessings, our first ancestors fell and created a world of evil instead of one of goodness. For 6,000 long years, God the Creator, our Heavenly Parent, had to live through so many days of sorrow and suffering, waiting eagerly for the appearance of their victorious ancestors that is the true parents who would fulfill the ideal of creation. How difficult that course was. The Old Testament tells us great details that Heavenly Parent had to go through 4,000 years of anguish and anxiety, depending upon the success or failure of chosen central figures, until it was possible to send Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son. If only at that time of his coming that people had created the environment in which Jesus Christ, God's only begotten Son, could have attained the position of the true parent, yet they were unable to do so. Jesus went to the cross with the promise to return and hold the feast of the Lamb. The Christian's faith emerged, but Christians to this day do not know the true nature of Jesus and are unable to explain about God, the Creator, our Heavenly Parent. The Creator cannot entertain failure. Once it has been set in motion, God's must be fulfilled without fail. Finally, in 1943, through the Korean people, our Heavenly Parent brought about the birth of the only begotten daughter. This led in turn to the advent of the true parents in 1960s. With Christianity unable to provide a welcome environment, however, the true parents had to begin at the bottommost level, reaching individuals one by one. True parents are responsible to bring rebirth and resurrection to all of fallen humanity, giving new life to all people as God's children. For this reason, we inaugurated the blessing ceremony in 1960s. Over the past 60 years, many couples throughout the world received the blessing. Even so, in order to create the environment which Heavenly Parent dream can be fulfilled, true parents must show that they themselves have achieved that dream. In 2013, true parents proclaimed Foundation Day and the founding year of Cheon Il Guk. After that, True Mother, the only begotten daughter, traveled the world with the heart of life or death determination and achieved the actual restoration of 7 nations, 7 regions, 7 religions, orders, and the continent. On that foundation, she proclaimed the firm establishment of Cheon Il Guk. Cheon Il Guk, since Cheon Il Guk is firmly established, it should be overflowing with citizens. Cheon Il Guk, Heavenly Kingdom. For this, the registration of Cheonbo families, blessed families that have fulfilled their responsibility is necessary. That is why I started down this path. And today, more than 5,000 new Cheonbo families have been registered. You have achieved 5 times the impact in 1 year. Nonetheless, your responsibility to not end here. Cheonbo families are Cheonbo flowers that never wither or change. The Korean Cheonbo families are responsible to bring Korea to the point where it can fulfill its responsibility as the homeland of our Heavenly Parent. To bring that about, our effort and devotion we'll have to move heaven and pave the way for the Korean people to open their eyes, hear heaven's voice, and receive heaven's blessing. I have already said that the age of the Asia-Pacific civilization has dawned with the Korean Peninsula at its center. When Asia unified and the Cheonbo flowers, blessed families registered a Cheonbo spread throughout the world, and the beautiful and the shining Cheonbo flowers in full bloom fill the 7 continents and all nations on this earth. Then in 2027, on the day of celebrating the 60th Heavenly Parents Day, together with True Mother, the only begotten daughter, all Cheonbo families around the world will gather in attendance of the Heavenly Parent, centering on this nation. We will sing and feast together, offering gratitude and honor to our Heavenly Parent. May every one of you become families that realize this day without fail, and thereby became the prominent and noble Cheonbo families of the Cheon Il Guk era, of whom everyone can be proud. It is through parents' wish and prayer that Cheonbo families that receive the great love of our heavenly parent, you will blossom brilliantly, form as the beautiful Cheonbo flowers. Yeah, so powerful quotes for today. If you have difficulties, please watch one more time this video. Share this video as we end this billion happy life subscribers marathon. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, and become a member of this Heavenly Parents Holy Community Global. The contact is below. And we see you tomorrow with more powerful quotes. Till then, turn on suggestion playlist. Choose the best one for you and listen God's word. Stay blessed all the day. Bye bye. For now, yours, Nicolae Cirpala.